Welcome to Varėna, the region of the purest nature inside the largest forest in Lithuania and home to Dzūkija National Park. Varėna district is situated in the south of the country, near the border to Belarus. Varėna district is easily reached from the capital Vilnius by car, by bus or by train, with just around 1 hour drive away. It seems that Varėna prefers trees to people, as it is actually the largest district in Lithuania by land area, but one of the most sparsely populated, and it is home to just around 20,000 people. Varėna is a wonderful place to visit for those who want to run away from all the noise of a modern life. Most of the district is covered with the largest forest in the country called Dainavos Giria, and the majority of it is inside Dzūkija National Park, where most of modern development is very restricted. Varėna district is the place where you will find pristine forests, rivers, and ancient villages settled in between the woods. Varėna is also part of the Lithuanian ethnographic region Dzūkija, where there are quite a lot of differences in the way the Lithuanian language is spoken, as well as distinct local dishes made in the region. So let's start exploring Dzūkija National Park. Before we go deep into the woods, let's first see the part of the cultural and historical side of the park in Merkina village. Centrally located at the crossroads leading from the rest of the country to Druskininkai, Merkina is a spectacular place for a stop during a road trip in the region. Back in the 14th century, Merkina was a very important strategic place. There was a thriving city with a castle on the hill fort, often visited by the Grand Dukes. While the castle was lost during the wars against the Crusaders, the hill fort is still there, and it is one of the most famous hill forts in the country for its historical relevance and the awe-inspiring views of Nemunas and Merkis rivers confluence. It's an amazing spot to stop by during a road trip. On a nearby hill there is a popular restaurant where there often are concerts in the evenings too. For more views of the beautiful surrounding nature, you can go to the observation tower nearby as well. Merkina also quietly displays its lengthy history within the architecture of town's church. It is unclear when exactly it was built, but its interiors show some of the Gothic ceiling style from the 15th century. There were major changes in 1647, converting the style to Baroque, still beautifully showing till today. Another place that looks like a church at the town center is actually the town's history museum. It used to be an Orthodox church. It was built in 1887 by the Russian Tsarist government after razing down the town hall that used to stand there. Now there is a miniature model displaying how it used to look like. The museum inside is small but definitely has a lot of history to tell about the region, and it was quite an interesting place to visit. The locals are very proud of the town being historically important, and the local museum has plans on expanding into a nearby building where Vladislav Vasa, the King of Poland and the Grand Duke of Lithuania, had died in 1648. On the side of the main square of Merkina, you will also find the visitor center of Dzūkija National Park. It is well worth visiting in order to get to know the national park and get the best travel routes. Merkina also has a few quirky spots to check out while passing by. One of them is a very unusual house that probably everybody knows who passed by the region at least once. It is the house on a chicken leg. A funny-looking little house was built there just as a rest house for the local firefighters decades ago, but it definitely draws the eye to everyone who passes by. Another interesting spot is the Pyramid of Merkina. Yes, a pyramid. It is a bioenergetic pyramid covered with a dome. According to hundreds of visitors, if you spend half an hour in the pyramid, you will feel positive physical and spiritual changes. The pyramid was built there by a local who claims that at this spot in 1990, he experienced a godly apparition. No matter what did happen there, this place today is filled with calm and good energy. It is a perfect place for some meditation, no matter the religious beliefs. Another place in the district is a famous place for religious pilgrims. Liškiava, a tiny village by the river, boasts of centuries-old monastery complex. Liškiava Church and Dominican Monastery was built in the early 1700s in late Baroque style. These days there also is a small museum in the basement of the church, with the possibility to see the crypts. Just outside Liškiava there is another hill fort which provides amazing views of the monastery and the river valley. What's different about this hill fort that there actually are some small ruins of a tower from the 15th century. Overall, Liškiava and the hill fort are a lovely place for a scenic walk, but it is better to visit if you are on the way to Druskininkai, as it is the furthest place to visit in the district, and just 15 minutes by car from Druskininkai city. Now it's time to go deep into that beautiful forest of Dainava to see the even more natural side of Dzūkija National Park. The best base for sightseeing here is a lovely Marcinkonys village, built in the middle of the forest with traditional wooden houses, and one of them even is a little museum of traditional homestead. I came here during a small festivity of the national park in June, and there were some traditional crafts available to try and a local produce market. For some reason, Marcinkonys, being in the middle of nowhere, has a railway too. It was actually built in the 19th century to connect St. Petersburg, Vilnius and Warsaw, but the line was discontinued and the trains come only to Marcinkonys, which is a good option to get to the national park without car. From here, you can explore most of the local sites by foot or by bike. A good place to start would be the second visitor center of the national park, which we have in Marcinkonys. The visitor center is dedicated specifically to Čepkeliai Reserve and the surroundings of Marcinkonys. This is also where excursions begin to Čepkeliai Strict Nature Reserve, which is strictly forbidden to enter on your own. Čepkeliai is the largest marsh in Lithuania, more than 11,200 square kilometers in size and protected internationally, as it is home to hundreds of plant and animal species. Many of them are endangered. There aren't many places like this left around Europe. Čepkeliai Marsh is a true haven for all nature and animals, as this huge area is strictly forbidden from any human activity. Luckily, at one small portion at the corner of the reserve, there is a 1.5 kilometer long path allowing visitors to see the marsh. However, it is only allowed to come here together with a national park's employee and by booking an excursion in advance. The whole area around Čepkeliai Reserve and the national park around Marcinkonys has a strange combination in its landscape. This whole area is very sandy, while at the same time it is filled with pine tree forests. You can see what I mean during a hike in one of the most scenic walking trails in the area. Dzūkija trail leads through the beautiful pine tree forests to the local sand dune, of which there actually are a lot in these forests. After this, the path takes you to a swamp with a funny name, Bear's Butt. Later, the path even reaches a scenic river valley and also leads through a century-old wooden church at the edge of Marcinkonys. In general, Dzūkija is probably one of the most scenic routes you can get in Lithuania. At almost 14 kilometers in length, it will take a good portion of the day to complete. But there are also shorter versions of the path available. The path starts from the visitor center in Marcinkonys. There are many more other walking and cycling trails in the national park, such as Skroblos Trail leading through small villages and a small stream valley, the lengthy set of free trails summing up to 50 kilometers long, dedicated to the guerrilla fights against the Soviet Union, and even a forest beekeeping educational trail. Let's have a closer look here. At a remote village Musteika, there is a small museum of hollow tree beekeeping. It is more than just an actual apiary, but unique in a way that we still use the ancient technique of using hollow trees. Near Marcinkonys, there also is a place where you can see some wild animals. The place is Tegali Bison Reserve. European bisons were actually extinct in Lithuania before, but they were reintroduced from other countries into special protected areas in Lithuania. Tegali is one of those places, and visitors have a possibility to see them if they are lucky from an observational deck at the reserve. Just 2 kilometers from here, there is probably one of the most picturesque old villages of Dzūkija National Park. Here you can see up close the authentic Lithuanian wooden architecture lasting centuries. Feel the serenity of the village. Zervynus is actually a very popular spot to stop by during the summer months because of the river Ūla, which brings hundreds of kayakers every day. Kayaking in Ūla and other rivers in Dzūkija National Park is one of the best ways to explore the beauty of the surrounding nature and the old cultural heritage of local villages. Kayaking through River Ūla is considered to be one of the most scenic kayaking routes in Lithuania, and I definitely agree. The river flows through expansive forests and small traditional villages among the woods. Some places have beautiful steep shores too, which can be enjoyed while hiking in the area too. I came to kayak here a few years ago and I definitely want to come back again to do more someday soon. Our popular routes go through river Grūda, which passes by Marcinkonis, and the largest river in Varėna, Merkys, which reaches the beautiful Merkina town which I mentioned earlier. Dzūkija National Park is definitely a place not to miss for nature lovers and authenticity seekers. But even outside the national park, Varana district has some interesting places to visit. There is the regional capital Varēna, which is still quite a small city, but it has a variety of restaurants, which otherwise are rare and far in between in the district. When it comes to food, Varēna region, being so forested, is considered to be the capital of mushroom foraging and berry picking in Lithuania. During the summer and autumn, there often are people in the street markets or just on the roadside selling seasonal goods from the forest. There even is a yearly mushroom foraging championship in this area, taking place in early autumn. And one more food Varēna district is famous for is cheese. In Dzūkija village, there is a cheesemaker's house, where you can taste and buy various fresh cheeses from the region and other products, as well as sit down for a dinner at the terrace. The place is very cozy, but it is open only during weekends. So what can I say about Varēna district? I loved it. This summer I came here 3 times and I've been here a few times before as well. But to be fair, I love it mostly for the nature of it. So if you like what you saw in this video, you will enjoy it too. I like the Dzūkija National Park so much, I'm already thinking of coming for a bike trip by train from Vilnius or do another kayaking trip in one of the rivers here. Merkina and Liškiava, on the other hand, is a great place to go when combining with other trips. They are great stops to spend there a few hours. So, see you in Varēna and thanks for watching!